yesterday what we have discussed, see, we have seen about what is agile model, right? So in the agile model is nothing but it is a combination of incremental model and iterative model. So both these models has been just, we have just combined, and they have just identified another model called, it's an agile model. Using this agile model, so we are just going to achieve a lot of advantages to the customers, correct? Because we are just going to have uh, the complete, like everything is going to done very fastly. Each and every resources work, we are just going to capture based on the hourly basis. We are just going to calculate, and we are just going to record the things. That's what it is going to happen in the agile model. And the great advantages for the customer is they don't want to provide exactly the correct requirement, that to the complete requirements. They don't want to provide the complete requirements in the agile model. So they can provide whatever the information that they are clear, or otherwise whatever the information that they have, that information they are just going to share to our product owners. The customer is going to provide the information to our product owners. So here in our sprint, like I'm just going to so here, what are the roles that it has been like involved in the sprint model? Means we are just going to have like that 1 second. The main roles, what are the roles we are just going to have here? So it's going to be the product. See here, first is the customer. Customer is one of the role. He is going to provide the requirements. That requirements, we are just going to take it as a epics. And the another role in this particular agile model is product owner. So whatever the information that is going to be provided by this customer, right, this product owner is going to split that requirements in, like he's going to convert that requirements into high level requirements, and that we are just going to make it as either a task or user stories. So regarding this task or user stories, task means it's nothing but they are going to break this requirements into some set of tasks. So totally, for example, yesterday we have seen, we have taken 100 number of tasks that we are just going to have, means, so we are just going to split this 100 tasks into some set of subtasks, and we are just going to take it for our sprint purpose. So here the another role is product owner. Product owner responsibility is he want to get the requirements from the customer, and he want to split that requirements into some set of tasks. That is the main objective of this product owner. Scrum master, another role is a scrum master. Scrum master role is daily he wants to capture, he want to observe what are the things that is happening inside the team, and every day he want to conduct the meetings called daily scrum meetings. Every day he want to conduct daily scrum meetings. Is nothing but stand up meetings. We are just going to call them as stand up meeting. It is going to happen every day around in the morning itself, 10 to 15 minutes of time. Everyone in our team is going to get assembled in this particular meeting. So a customer will be there, product owner can be there, scrum master, development team, entire team is going to available in this daily scrum meetings. So every day, each and every person, what is the work they have already done, and what is the work they want to do, and also what is their like, is there really they got stuck up in any place? Those informations and all should be provided to the scrum master. Scrum master is going to record each and every information. He is the person who is going to track the entire process. So that's what it is going to be happened. Next, he is also going to conduct a retrospective meetings, where this meetings is going to be conducted after the sprint get completed. Each and every sprint, right? We are just going to, his Scrum Master is going to conduct a meeting saying that what really went well, what really does not went well. Those things and all he is going to like get the information, and he's going to record the things. And there is another team called, like see here, now in this particular task, again we are just going to subdivide that task into some set of features. Like maybe in the one task we can subdivide that into feature 1, feature 2, feature 3, something like that. So under these features, right, we are just going to have, we may also have multiple user stories, which also can have some set of subtasks also. So these things and all, we are just going to have it in the tool called Jira. That tool, we are just going to see it by today. I'm just going to show you how the Jira tool is going to work. Jira tool is the one which is going to track all this project management related stuff, which is going to be maintained by the Scrum Master. Okay. The other team, the other role of this particular agile model is development team. In the development team, right, we are just going to have the entire team. That is, the total developers will be involved, project managers will be involved, test managers will be there, and also test leads, testing team. So all these peoples are going to be available in this particular development team. Under the development team, these all people comes under the development team itself. So these people and all, they are going to take the task, whatever the task that is provided by this product owner or scrum master, right? So that user stories or task is going to be assigned to corresponding developers and testers, and as well as to the project managers. They are going to take this user stories and they are going to work based on these particular things. So this is the one. Yesterday we have seen about the other thing also. So related to user stories, we have seen, right? For example, we are just going to say that user stories means what? So for completing one user stories, right, we are just going to calculate how many number of hours or man days it is going to take. So yesterday what we have thought is like we are just going to have 1 second. So usually, right, so we are just going to calculate. For example, here we have taken totally 100 tasks we have taken, right? This 100 tasks we have just got it from the customers. So these 100 tasks, initially we are just going to split that into number of sprints here. So you just take it as a sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, like that we are just going to have. So sprint means, already I told you, yeah, for every 2 to 3 weeks once we are just going to have. For example, if you are going to take that 2 weeks once, we are just going to have a release. That means how many days it is going to be? Totally 14 days will be there. 2 weeks means 7 plus 7, 14 days. In that, Saturdays and Sundays we are just going to remove, means it is going to be holidays, right? Totally how many days we are just going to have? Totally 10 days. Within this 10 days, you want to release some certain tasks. So for example, if you are just going to take 10 store, so 10 days means it's nothing but here one, for completing one particular task, right? We are just going to calculate that task based on the users, like how many number of user stories. So here story, so one story point is equal to, like one story point equal to, we are just going to say that 6 hours. So that means for completing one particular task, right, it is going to how many number of user stories you are just going to assign to that particular task. You want to give an estimation. Who is going to give the estimation means developers. If the user story is belongs to that particular user story or task, who is going to work on that? Either the developer is going to work on this task, means we are just going to ask the developer and as well as the project manager to give the estimation of this. If they want to provide the estimation, means they want to provide the estimation based on the story points only. Here we are just going to calculate each and every story point, user stories or tasks based on the story points. Okay, one story point is equal to 6 hours. One story point is equal to 6 hours. It's going to be. So totally now how many tasks we have taken? 100 tasks. 100 tasks means, so in that, for the first sprint, for example, you are just going to take 16 tasks. So 16 tasks means totally how many uh, uh, One second. My- you are hearing any disturbances from my end? No, right?
No.
Okay. So here one story point equal to 6 hours we are just going to take. So totally we are just going to take 16 tasks, means 16 into so per 16 task means one user story totally in 100, if we are just going to take 16 users 16 tasks in the sprint one. In sprint one you are just going to take 16 tasks. So here you take 16 tasks. Totally task 16 tasks we are just going to take it in the sprint one. See, in the sprint one, 16 task means how much hours it is going to get calculated. See, for each and every task, right, there will be some set of estimations already given. For example, you take, so project manager is going to take task one. Project lead, they are going to take task 2 and 3. So, and the developer is going to take task 4 and 5. Developer 2 is going to take task 6 and 7. Developer 3 is going to take task 8 and 9. And task 10 and 11 is going to taken by another developers. In the similar way, QA also, QA manager is going to take one task and lead is going to take another task 13. So then QA test engineers are going to take task 14, task 15, and task 16. See, initially, when the developer is doing the development task, that they are going to develop any software, right? At that time, what the test engineers are going to do means, so this manager is going to prepare the test plans and test strategies, and leads also going to involve with the test preparing of the test plan as well as preparing the test cases. Preparing test cases. So yesterday I told you preparing test scenarios or test cases. Initially, for the first sprint, we are just going to do the manual test case preparation only. So here, our test engineers are going to prepare the test cases, manual test cases, and in the from second sprint onwards, we are just going to work on the automation test scripts. Automation test cases when it is going to come in means, we are just going to get this automation test script at the point of the system, whenever the system gets little bit of stable and the developed screens here afterwards, we are not going to get any changes. At that time, we are just going for the automation, or otherwise we are just going to go ahead with the manual testing process only. So the application or software which is going to be developed by the dev team is going to be these people are going to release one by one task, means we as a test engineers are going to test that particular um, software, and then we are just going to release finally. So that's what here everything is going to handle. In the similar way, what the Scrum Master is going to do means, so he is going to help either the project manager or lead or development team or testing manager to identify all the tasks and take all the tasks and how the progress is going on. So all these things are going to be recorded by the Scrum Master. So he is the one who is going to track each and every one information. And then once when the sprint should get started, when the sprint should get ended, within that ending sprint, so all the task has been completed or not. Is there any incompleted task? Is there incompleted task means why it is incompleted? Because of any particular technical reason they are not able to complete that, those things and all. It should be analyzed by this Scrum Master. He want to talk with each and everyone and they want to understand the thing. If really it is a difficult task, they cannot complete the things means. So for example, developer 4 has completed task 10. He did not completed 11. Those things and all, we are just going to move it to the next sprint called sprint 2. So in the similar way, so task 11, task 5, he maybe developer 1 has completed 4, but he did not completed task 5 because of some technical issues or something. That also we are just going to move it to the next sprint. Here, so each and every task we are just going to calculate based on the story points only. So for example, in the estimation, right, they are going to say that task 1, for completing task 1, right, So it is going to take 2 days, means it's nothing but 2 days is equal to, it's nothing but 6. So 1 day equal to 6 hours. So that's what we have just seen, right? So totally 12 hours. Within the 12 hours, the person who has taken this task one needs to be completed. So here we are just going to see the hourly basis of the progress of each and every task. For example, you take task 2. So it is going to take 3 days, means. So we are just going to say that, so 6 plus 6, 12, 12 plus 6, it's uh, uh, 12 plus 6, 18. So totally within 18 hours, they want to complete task 2. Like that, they are going to do an estimation. So before starting this sprint 1 itself, they are going to do an estimation for each and every task. Based on that task only, the Scrum Master is going to track within that particular given time span, within this particular hours, these developers and test engineers, QA engineers are completing their work or not. If they are not completing, means why they did not complete it. Scrum Master is having rights to question you and get the proper information. You want to every day morning in the Scrum meeting, you want to provide the information to the Scrum Master. What is the problem? You are you are in track or not? Is there really you are facing any issues? So all these kind of things and all, he is going to track, and he is going to update the tool called Jira tool. So Jira tool is the one which is used for management tool purpose as well as bug tracking purpose. So this is the overall sprint. Like so, when the sprint is going to get started, when the sprint is going to get ended, and all, we have already seen that. Correct. So, for example, so here. So this is the way, like already I just explained you, and that is the one, like I'm just re-explain. So you know when to start the sprint 1, when to start sprint 2. Sprint 1 start date and end date you are just going to mention here. Already I have explained the day before yesterday itself, so no need to worry about these things. So this is the way the overall process is going to get continued today, right? I'm just going to explain you. So the tool called Jira tool. So what is the Jira tool? Why we are and the why we want to use this Jira tool? That is the one we are just going to see. See, now you just got it right. What is an agile process is? Agile process is going to work like see most of the companies around the 70%, 60 to 70% of the companies they're following agile methodology only. We are just going to have releases for every 2 to 3 weeks of time. No need to provide complete requirement in the starting stage itself. This is the major advantages means by the customer. The customer is not going to provide. So the customer can provide the changes whenever it is required. See, for every 2 weeks once, we are just going to release it to the customers. Customer is going to take this application and he is going to test by himself after 2 weeks of time. So everything, whatever the things that we are doing it, parallelly the customer is able to view the things. And if there is any changes that needs to be happen, means then and there the customer is going to come up and he's going to communicate to us. Yes, having any questions over here? No, right? Okay, fine. So 10 days or 15 days. So either within 10 days, our sprint time will be there, or 15 days. This is going to be decided by our maybe by the product owner or scrum masters based on the requirements, how we are just getting the requirements from the customer, and as well as how the customer is expecting the output. Either he want to see the output within 10 days or 15 days. We are just going to make that our sprint things like in this manner. In the similar way, in the sprint 1, you are just going to start this. So user story, how many user stories you are going to take in this sprint 1, that already you should have decided. So for completing this user story 1, it is going to take 3 story points, means so totally 18 hours. So you want to calculate how many resources are there for each and every resource, how many story points, sorry, how many user stories you can assign to them. So is there like any buffer time is there for each and every user or not resource? So those things and all, right? We want to just uh, calculate, and based on that only you want to take story points. user stories based on that particular calculation only. How many resources are there for that particular resource? How many story points that can be accommodated? So based on that, they are going to do the things here. Okay. So that is the way we are just going to take this user story is going to take how many story points? That means 3 story points means totally 18 hours it's going to take. So 6, 6, 12 and 18. If it as user story 2 is going to take 4 story points means it's going to take 24 hours. Here 18 hours or something. Hours like that. So if it is a 2 story points means it's going to take 12 hours. So like this, we are just going to calculate, and based on resource also, we need to allot to this particular. In the similar way, so here story point till story point 4 we have done. Next, in the sprint 2, you can take another story points like story point 5 to story point 6, story point 16, 17, based on which one they want to complete. You want to take like that. In the similar ways, sprint 4, right? So sprint 3, you are just going to take some set of another story points. User story 7, user story 8. So like this, you are just going to split that user stories. Which one needs to be prioritized? Which one needs to be developed first? Which user story needs to be developed first? Which task needs to be developed first? Based on that, you are just going to prioritize and accommodate in that particular sprints here. So you're getting it right. So number of roles also we have already seen. So and also splitting like how to split the requirements into some set of smaller tasks also. So you can do that based on your requirements. So usually what are the things that it is going to happen in sprint 1 means, so in the usually like this, so it is a fresh project means you are just going to get the requirements from the customers. So this is also one of the story point which is going to be alerted to the product owner, and converting that requirements into task. It is going to be done by the product owner and scrum master and as well as the project manager. So architecture will design the system. So this is one of the user story which is going to be assigned to the leads or architects in the team. And the development team is going to develop or implement. Test managers are going to start preparing the test plan in the story point 1. And next one is understanding the requirements by the test engineers is going to happen in the sprint 1. So that's what sprint 1 task is going to be. And sprint 2 task and all right, how the things are going to be means developer team will design and develop the things, and testing team will start writing test cases and start uh, testing. They are going to do the testings here. And in sprint 2 release, right, like we will be writing automation. See, whatever the things that if any testing has been done and it has been freezed in the sprint 1 means for that related things, right, we are just going to write the automation test scripts here. So finally releasing it to the customers is going to happen by our testing team. Next, in the sprint 3, right, another set of new tasks we are just going to take, like developer will design and develop the new things for next level of things. Testers are going to do the manual testing. Testers are going to do the manual testing for S3 related user stories. Okay. So we will be writing automation test scripts for sprint 3. So actually sprint 2. Sprint 2 related for that particular story points and all, we are just going to prepare the automation test scripts. Sprint 3 related things and all, we are just going to manually do the testings here. So that's what it is going to happen. You are able to understand this point. See, this is very important point. See, in sprint 2, right, something got developed and you have tested manually. So that will be released to the customers. So that kind here we will be doing only manual testing. So no automation. It is a first sprint, developed sprint means you are not going to do any automation. In case like you can just remove this point also. It's not required. If required, you can just have it. So only sprint 2 related things. If you are really going to automate means you can just keep this story point. And see, and what are the manual testing has been done, and the system has been freezed, application has been freezed for some set of things. You are just going to prepare the automation scripts for that sprint 2 related tasks. You're getting this point. And for which are the new developed user stories in the sprint 3, as a test engineer, you are going to do the manual testings for this S3 related, sprint 3 related user stories. So these 2 points is very much important. You are getting this point or not? I just want response from here.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it.
So that's what it's going to be. And here, if there is any regression testings is going to happen, means that also we want to, where we are just going to do the automation means whenever the regression testing is required, in that particular point, we are just going to do the automation script. In the similar way, testing team will prepare test cases for the next sprint. So we as a test engineers, what we want to do means for the next release, what are the test cases that we want to prepare? We should prepare in the sprint 3. For example, sprint 4, we have some set of user stories to test, means that kind of user stories and all, we want to prepare the test cases in the sprint 3 itself. So you should be very much advanced next level. Next, start writing the test cases and start sprinting sprint 3 related testing. Sprint 3, whatever the things that has been released. So we are just going to start the testing part here, and we are just going to release the same task to the customers. Finally, we are just going to release it to the customers. And that release task, if you are a test engineer, need any help for the customers, means you want to have one set of user stories for that particular thing here. Next, sprint 4 will be, it is going to be it is going to get, it's going to keep on sprint 4, sprint 5. All the things are going to get repeated similarly. Whatever the things that we have done here, right, that things are going to get repeatedly. We are just going to do the things here. So this is the overall process which we are just going to see here. So now, before going to the software testing life cycle, right, I just want to show you the things like, see, I want to show you the tool called Jira tool, which is going to be used in the in this agile model. See, if you want to just check for any Jira tool, right? So see, you can also, there is a tool called Jira. So I have already downloaded this, this is a free tool only, open source tool also it is there. In addition to that, companies are going to buy this Jira tool. Actually, in this website, there are some limitations are going to be there. Okay, but in addition to that, I'm just going to, 1 second. Okay. Second. See, this is the Jira software actually, which is used to track our entire project related information. This Jira tool is going to be used by everyone. See, if you want to create any user stories using Jira, that is any requirements using Jira, right? Whatever the information they are going to provide, we are just going to get from the customers, right? So that information and all, we are just going to create some set of user stories. Before creating user stories, using this Jira, they are going to create the project here. So what is the project they want to create means, here you just go to this project, go to this create project, you just create a new project in this particular thing. Here there is some set of boards and all, it is going to be there. So here our project template is going to be related to software development. We are just going to develop one set of tool. For that, what are the things that we are just going to boards? What are the boards that are available here means, there is a board called Kanban board, Scrum board, and bug tracking board. Here, right, most of the guys, we are just going to use this Scrum board only. So if I'm just going to click on this Scrum board, right, see what it's going to happen. Here it is like The Scrum template helps team work together using sprints to break down the large complex project into bit-sized pieces of values. So encourages your team to learn through incremental delivery self-organizations while working on a problems and regularly reflects on their wins and losses of continuous improvement here. So here, if you see, if you want to create any Scrum board here, you want to create this, you use template. So this is the one where you are just going to create one template here. See here, what is your role is when you are creating the Scrum board, you are going to manage the team or you are just going to manage the company process. Here, we want to manage the team only. So if you want to manage the team, who is going to create this template means either the Scrum Master or otherwise the product owner or like project manager, they are going to create this. Most probably Scrum Masters only going to create this. So when they are going to click on this, select a team managed projects, we want to provide our project name here. What is our project name is? We are just going to say that Canada project 1. Okay. So here, what is the name you are just going to give for the project name? That key, your project key is going to be available with the first 3 letters. It is automatically it's going to get taken. If you want, you can also give some other things. If you are just going to click on this side, either you can provide any key name or otherwise it is going to take the first 3 characters. After that, you are just going to create the click on this create project button. See now one project has been created, that our project is going to be, what is our board name is Can board, that is Canada. I just created a project called Canada project, right? Project 1. So for that Canada project, we have just got this particular thing here. Usually there will be some set of roadmaps. They are going to have some set of roadmaps. Roadmaps means what? See, when what are the user stories that is going to be given by the uh, customers, that we are just going to see here. This is called an epic. So you want to create an epic for that. That means, for example, you are just going to say one of the page you are just going to develop means that is called a login page. I'm just going to create one set of epic here. Customer is going to give the thing name called epic called, they want a login page need to be developed. That's what the customer is going to say, need to be developed. Okay, this is the information which we are just going to get from the customer. So they are going to give one line of requirement. So just that means first epic, they have given this epic. Now in this particular epic, right, you can also create some set of child issues. That is, you can just go and click on this plus button and create here. Either you can just create as an user story or otherwise you can create as a task or you can create as a bug. So here we are, if you are just going to create one user story, right? User story is, so login employee login page. I'm just going to say that employee login page, develop employee login page. Okay, this is one of the user story. I'm just going to create under this particular epic, and under the same epic, I'm just going to create another user story called testing employee login details, employee login info. See, you are able to understand this. See, this is a tool which is going to be used with the agile process. In the agile process, right here, if you are going to get any requirement from the customer is going to provide the requirement like this, only one line. So then our product owner is going to do some analysis on this epic, and he is going to create some set of task or user stories. Here you can also make it as a task. I can just create a, see, this green color is there means it is a user story. This blue color or tick mark is there means it is a task. So you are getting this point. Here we are just going to say that. So then like testing of, for example, this is the application you want to test. For example, you take any application. So I'm just going to say that. I think yesterday I just shown you, I think we are just, if you want to test any login page, in the login page, username will be there, password will be there, and then login button is going to be there. Login button. So username is going to be the text box, password is going to be another text box. So here the employee will be there in this. Employee is going to log into the system. Employee will be there. HR will be there. Like this, our application is going to have some set of entities and all will be there. So employee, HR, admin department. So like this. So if the employee is going to log in, right? Employee is going to log in. So it should take him to the employee homepage. That we are just going to call it as employee homepage. So if you are just going to say that like HR is going to log in, right? Then it should take him to the HR homepage. HR homepage. So maybe it is going to get disconnected within 1 minute. You want to rejoin, I think. Just be careful. So, and here again, like admin is going to log in means it is going to take him to the admin homepage. Admin homepage. So like this, we are just going to have some set of entities is going to, this is one of the functionalities. So for that, right, here the user is going to say that login page needs to be developed. That's it. And this product owner, he want to just analyze. He want to sit with the customer, or otherwise he want to understand the exact requirements from the customer, and they want to create some set of tasks. Or here, if you see here, so I'm just going to have this. This is the actual requirement that you we are just going to get from the customer here. Okay, and after this, we are just going to our product owner is going to elaborate the requirements which we have got from the customer. Right, that requirements the product owner is going to elaborate just by taking it as separate task or otherwise separate user stories. So he can provide anything here. One second. Okay, fine. See here, now you just got it right. Like this, if the user is going to create some set of, sorry, that means the product owner initially is going to get the requirements and is going to update it in this particular Jira tool as an epic. And also he is going to elaborate that epic into some set of tasks or user stories. Okay, so one second, I'm just going to, oh, here I'm just going to do initially write the description. I want to provide the description here. Okay, fine. See, like this, they're going to create some task. Let's close this. Now, for completing this particular epic, right? When we want to start developing this particular epic, when we want to complete our this particular epic, that's what we are going to do an estimate, that we are going to do a roadmap here. For that, right? You think that, for example, you are just going to start on maybe like May. Today is May 15th, right? You are just going to say that this epic needs to be started on this particular time. So that means May 20th is the start date, and it should get completed within May, like June 6th. Before June 6th, this needs to be completed. That's what our assumption is. Login screen, for developing the login screen, right? It is going to start from May 20th, and before June 6th, this epic needs to be completed. So like this, we may get lot of epics from the customers. So if you want to create the epic, you can just go on this particular epic, and after login page is done, here the customer is going to say that homepage. That is maybe, for example, you take Amazon website. So Amazon website, right? Registration process will be there, right? Registration of user will be available. So this is the requirement which is provided by the customer. Registration of the user homepage. That's what he is going to say. Registration of the user using homepage. So it is going to be the epic means, then under this epic, we are just going to have some set of, they are going to split this registration of user stories into some set of tasks or something. Okay. Then for when this homepage needs to be completed, is for that also we are just going to have one kind of estimation. So this is our estimation. That means on June 6th to 2nd, we want to start this particular epic, and we want to complete that in the June 15th, before June 15th. Like this, we are going to do some estimation. We are going to have some sort of roadmap. These roadmaps and all, who is going to have means, after discussing with the customer, this product owner and Scrum Master, and if there is any other persons, important persons is there, means we are just going to discuss with them, and we are just going to, like with the help of test managers and project managers, we are going to give this estimation of this particular epics here. So these kind of roadmaps and all we are just going to prepare. After that, once this has been prepared, then you can just go to the backlog here. So go to the backlog, and from here only you want to start the sprint here. So before just going to the backlog, right? If you want to add any people to your project, but these things and all, it is going to be done by the Scrum Master. So using this people, is that right? So if you want to invite any teammates, or you want to you want to you want to collaborate your team, so you can just search for that your team email IDs, and you can just add your users into this particular project. It's going to be done by the Scrum Masters. Scrum Masters know how many people are going to involve in this particular project, who and all it, how many number of developers are going to be there, how many number of UA members are going to be there. So that things are we are just that is going to be taken by the Scrum Master, and they are going to add those people into this particular project. So their names and all is going to get displayed in the project. Now see, now if you just come to this particular backlog here, see what are the user stories and tasks that I have just created in that particular roadmap, right? Those things are, it will be available in this backlog. Backlog means, so this needs to be developed. That's what here. Now they are going to create some set of sprints here. So sprint means I told you, right? We are just going to create one based on the sprint. We are just going to work. So for that, they are going to create one sprint by just clicking on the sprint button here. So this is, you are just going to click on the sprint. See already, once one of the sprint is already, it has been created, I think. So anyway, we are just getting sprint instead of sprint one, right? We are getting sprint two. I'm just going to make an edit for this. Actually, this is the maybe sprint two. It all started from sprint two. Okay, let it be. So this is one kind of sprint. And when I'm again just if I'm going to click on this thing, right, it is going to get sprint three. Like again, if I'm just going to click. One second, actually, it got lost, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So now, now you're able to hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See here, the already like if first time when I click right here, can sprint one. Can is what here already we have created our Canada project one, right? That is called it is key. Yeah, Canada project one key is can. That's what, right? We have just kept it. So for that sprint one, it got created. So here I want to provide the dates, add dates, when to start the sprint one and when to end this sprint one. So here they are going to specify start date is going to be specified when it is going to get started with. So we are just going to say that the start date is going to be maybe like you just take it as a 20th is was start date of the sprint. So when is the end date means totally our sprint is going to be 2 weeks once. That means third is our release date. So this is our like a duration. It's going to be either 1 week or 2 weeks. That we are just going to mention. It's a 2-week sprint. 2-week sprint. You are just going to take this automatically. That start date and end date is going to get. If there is any particular goal for this sprint means, so need to be developed within the time. Need to be released. Login screen with all functionalities. Is the goal of this particular things. Then if you are just going to create an update here, right? So that is going to get updated in this particular things here. So if you are just see here in the sprint one, when it is going to start 20th and the third is the end date. And so here, if you want to add any user stories, right? Already some of the user stories will be in the backlog. So from here, login related information, and you want to just take this user story and you want to just move it to this user story and you want to keep it under this sprint. See, now under the sprint one, I have kept this login related page. So again, the testing point also I need to be kept it under this. See, not only development, testing also to be done in this sprint itself. Then it is going to be finally login screen should be developed and released within this particular thing, sprint one. So you are getting it right. Like this, they are going to put all this user stories under this particular task. And if they want to create any new user stories also, they can just create by using this create button. You can also go and create any task or user stories. So here, see, first you want to select the project. Already Canada project one I have selected. So what is the issue type you are just going to raise? Either a story, task, or bug, or epic. See, as a test engineer, right? If you find any issues, means you are just going to select this as a bug, and you are going to raise the bugs here. Okay, you're just going to raise a bug. In the similar way, I'm just going to right now there is no bug. I'm just going to make it as a task here. So what is the task you want to develop? So login page is there. In that login page, login user detail, login as employee. Login as employee already done. Login as an admin. Admin development need to be completed. So for example, you take, so under this, like a summary, it's going to be like this. Under the description, right, you are just going to have what like functionalities, all the functionalities needs to be you want, they are going to mention all the functionalities in this description here, but right now I'm not mentioning that. That is fine. And this user story, who is going to work? See, already like these are all the people that has been added to this project previously. So that is like I have just mapped. See, I'm just going to assign it to me. Once this user story is created, means it is going to be assigned to me. I want to work on this user story. So for this, what is the label? If there is any related things, is login related details, means you can just put a label for that. That is not a mandatory. And if there is sprint, in which sprint you are just going to execute this, that is sprint names is there, right? So here can sprint one. I want to complete this task in the sprint one. So can sprint one. Now story points. How many story points it is going to take to complete this particular task? Here I'm just going to say that it will take 3 story points. So 3 story points means totally it's going to be 18 hours. Within 18 hours, I want to complete this particular task. So actually this is only for development. Development, they're going to take 3 days to complete this things. And if there is any attachment document is there, means you can just attach that document. If there is no thing, means you can just go and click on this create button here. So once this create button has been created, see that task is going to be added into this. But see here, login as an admin development needs to be completed. This is the task, new task I have just created here, and it got added into the sprint one. See, if 20th May it comes in, means we are just going to click on this start sprint. So once the start sprint is going, then we are just going to click here, right? Automatically this we are just going to the sprint is going to get started. Then when the end date come, automatically we are just going to get it as a completed sprint. So when you're clicking completed, all these user stories needs to be completed by yourself. So see here, only there is a story points it is showing up here. That means, so for a particular like already that for the task we have assigned the 3 user stories, but for this user story, right, we did not assign any story points. If you want, right, you can also give it. See, before that there will be some set of status will be there. So here either it is an open state or otherwise it's a closed to do or in progress related status. So if you want to create more number of status also, open, close, resolved, so you can just go, and that is going to be added by the Scrum Masters. You no need to worry about the status. So if you want any status, means you can just request the Scrum Master to create the status of this particular user storage. You are getting this point. See, till now, what are the things that we are seeing? Is there any questions from your end?
Sir, in backlog also we need to mention the task. We need to create the task in
See,
backlog also.
first initially, whatever the task they are going to create, right, all the task is going to be there in the backlog only. From this backlog, they are going to prioritize which story needs to be taken for sprint 1, which stories that needs to be taken for sprint 2. They want to prioritize.
Task from Epic. Are you selecting this task from Epic?
Epic will be there. Under the Epic only, you are just going to Epic. We will not take the Epic into the sprints, because Epic is the one line of requirement which is given by the customer. From that one line of requirement, our product owner will elaborate the task. See, simply the customer is going to say, I want login page for my application. That's what the customer is going to say. With that information, you are able to develop. See, as a development team or a QA team, you should get more elaborated information, right? So just they are saying that login page means you cannot just go and click on the login page. In the login page, you want the functionalities. Who and all is going to log into this application? Employee, how many entities are going to be there? Employee will be there, and like admin will be there, HR will be there, like that some set of entities will be there. So if the HR is going to log in, where we need to take him to? If the employee is going to log in, what is the page we want to get display for him? So if the admin is going to log in, what is the page we want to display to him? Like that, we want to get more information. So in the login page means simply login page means they are going to put username and password, and login button. But actually, that is not the right way. The product owner needs to elaborate a little bit. That means login page is going to have forgot. There is like they are going to say that. So we are just going to have a link called forgot link. Forgot link. Forgot username link will be there. Forgot password link is going to be there. Forgot password. So like this, there will be some set of elaboration information needs to be provided by the product owner and the project manager. These informations and all, they are going to think and they are going to analyze on the requirement and they are going to elaborate that requirement into some set of, they are going to bring up some set of functionalities. They know what really the customer will expect. If the login page means simply username, password and login button, it's not going to be right. If the username and password, if they tomorrow they are going to forget, they want one link should be there. Forgot username or password link should be there. In addition to that, there is a checkbox should be there, which is going to remind your username and password. So such kind of things and all, additionally that should be provided, right? This information and all in-depth information that is going to be elaborated by the product owners or otherwise our project managers. Our project managers or test managers are going to work closely with the product owner. So they are going to elaborate the things after the product owner when discussing with this particular people, right? He is going to elaborate the requirements and he is going to add all these details into that Jira tool under this corresponding user story. See, under this user story, there will be a description will be there. In the description, he is going to provide all these details. If the login page means it should have username field, it should have password field, it should have login button field, it should have a forgot password link. And when the login, like employee is going to log in, employee username and password is going to given. When the employee click on login button, it should take him to the employee homepage. Like that, some set of story. Story means nothing but they are going to write the in detail information. So what the system should, how the system should behave when the some set of actions are going to happen in the application. So such kind of stories, they want to elaborate this stories. That's what the name of the thing itself, they are going to call it as a story. Story means what? They want to give some information. Epic means it's just a information, that's it. For that information, you want to give some elaborated story. That will be written in the story or task. You are getting these points.
Yes.
So like this, see, I have in the description, I did not give, I have given only one line of thing. But when it comes to the real environment, right, they are going to give the complete information in the description. So by just reading the description only, as a test engineer, you are going to work, or as a developer, they are going to work. As a developer, what needs to be developed, that information will be provided in the developer's user story. As a test engineer, what you want to do, that information is going to be provided in the, so that related documents, if there is any documents is there, means they are going to attach that documents with this user story itself. Under this user story, if there is any document is there, means you want to download the document and you want to read and understand the requirements. Is it clear? So epics and all, it's not going to be displayed in this either a backlog or in the prints. Epics will be there in the roadmap. In the roadmap, the customer requirements only, it will be available here. So if they want to complete, when they want to start this epic and when they want to complete this epic, they are just going to estimate. If they want, they can also elaborate. They can say that like they can increase the date, estimated date also. You're getting this point, right? So backlog means what are the user stories that are available, created, are going to be available under this backlog. And from the backlog only you are going to select. So which sprint in the first sprint, what are the user stories that you need to complete? First you want to complete login page, then only next you want to complete home page. So home page related user stories and all, you are going to take it in the next sprint, sprint 2. Like this, you are just going to select. See, based on the priority, what are the things that really next it is needed by for the customer. That one you are just going to select. Your project managers are going to help in selecting this. Project managers and leads or scrum masters and product owners are going to uh, uh, specify which user story needs to be taken in the which sprint and all. You no need to worry. Okay, but you are there in that particular position means you are the responsible person to select, prioritize which one needs to be taken first, which one needs to be taken next. That you want to take the responsibility and move this user stories under each and every sprint. So you are able to understand.
Yes.
See, so is it fine? Like we'll just continue for another 5 to 10 minutes, or otherwise we'll just see the other things by tomorrow. We'll see. Otherwise, the next whatever the things that is available, right? We'll see that in the tomorrow session.